Hey, Kevin here, Top 100 Financial Advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the market. There are three, count them, three big stories that kind of, I wouldn't say ruined the market today, but the market was down. Three stories that dominated the headlines today. So I want to get into those. What do they mean? What are they, and what to expect? So first, as you see in the background, we're going to start off with DoorDash. DoorDash was up around 85, 82%, depending on, when you ask, from its IPO price, keyword IPO price. I think the IPO price is like $95 or so. That ain't the price that me and you get. The price that me and you got was like 182 or so. And that's kind of where me and you were able to get in. And then, what we make or lose is really from that price. So we'll see what happens. I think it's very, very early. Personally, y'all know where I stand. I don't do many IPOs. I broke that rule for Snowflake. I don't intend on breaking it anytime soon again. Otherwise, it's not really a rule, right? But you want to make sure that you do what makes sense for you. Now, for me, I've said this before, between DoorDash and Airbnb, I would lean more towards Airbnb because we know that the vaccine is coming. Could be months, could be mid 2021, but we know a vaccine is coming. We know the world is going to open back up and people are going to travel again. Now, to me, those two things can't both be true. If I'm staying home, and this is just how I'm thinking about it, and anything can happen. But if I'm staying home, I'm ordering because I can't go anywhere. That means that DoorDash does well. If the world opens up and I'm out and I'm traveling and spending nights in hotels and eating fancy food and going into my favorite restaurant, then I'm not at home ordering. Therefore, DoorDash should fall. That's just how logically, it's just how it makes sense to me. I don't understand if you got $2 billion in sales this year because everybody was home, how are you also going to have 2 billion or more the following year when everyone is not home? So for me, what I would do if I were into IPOs, and I'm not, what I would do is just wait until we get the financial results for 2021. If it falls, which I think logically it should, I'm gonna pick it up when it's below $180, which, right now it's, 100 and whatever it is. I would wait till it drops below, pick it up around that range. That range meaning like probably less than 100, I think is what most people are looking at. We'll see. Pick it up then, and then hopefully things rise after that. We'll see. There's no guarantee that it will rise. There's no guarantee it will ever come back. It could be GoPro. We don't know. It could be Facebook. We don't know, right? But if I'm looking at the two, if I know people are going outside, I want to get in now, and hopefully things should be better in the future. So we'll see. That's why I'm leaning towards, if I had to pick, which I'm not doing either, if I had to pick, I'm doing Airbnb. I also did a poll on Public. You should follow me on Public, buildingbread.com/public. I think we did a poll. I think more than 60% chose Airbnb over DoorDash. So for what it's worth, the people have spoken. All right, so that was DoorDash. Let's get into why the market was down. And if you go back to my videos about a month ago, right before the election, and the weeks leading before the election, I said there are three things that are going to continue to dominate the market. It was going to be the virus, the election, and the stimulus. We have some clarity around the virus. We know about the vaccine. We know things still aren't good now, and we're starting to see cases rise even more because of Thanksgiving. We knew that was going to happen, though. We talked about that, but we got that out the way. We know the election, that's done, and now we still have the stimulus. There was a snag in the stimulus that talks have stalled out. And we have, at least for now, delayed another government shutdown. That shutdown was supposed to be this Friday. It's pushed back now to December 18th. Hopefully we don't go into that territory, but if we do, that ain't going to look good for the market. But right now, things are, stalled out. They're working through some things. A few minor details, depending on who you talk to, are kind of pausing those things, including, do individuals get payments? Do businesses get some protection from, I think it's like a liability waiver. So you can't sue a business if you get COVID there. That's one of the things that they're debating about. Good, bad, I have no idea. What I am here to say is Right now, if you check your account today, you probably lost money. Actually, if you check your account today, you were probably good until about, I don't know, 12 or 1 o'clock, and then things just fell off a hill because of that. So you want to keep your eye on that. And it can go either way. If the stimulus is passed, if we don't hit a shutdown, then the market is probably going to rally. Everyone's going to be happy. We ride off into the sunset for the holidays, and we start 2021 off on whatever foot we started off on. Because it was we saw what happened in 2020. I'll just say that. If things don't go well and we do hit a shutdown and the stimulus isn't passed, the market is probably going to react in a very, very negative way, and we'll have to deal with those consequences. Now, regardless, whether it's passed or it's not passed, shutdown or no shutdown, I'm staying on my process. Come Friday, I'm putting money right back into the stocks that I've already had, and I'm gonna keep it pushing because that's the process, and that's what's got us here thus far. It got us through March. You saw what happened, and I don't know if I put that tweet up or not, but back when Nike was $88, your boy kept putting money in it. Then it was 91, then it was 140, right? And we just kept sticking with the investments that we had. Nike is just one of those great examples. So aside from that, we've talked about DoorDash, we've talked about the stimulus, and now let's talk about Facebook. Facebook, they got hit with a huge lawsuit. I think it was 48 states and the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, basically saying, look, y'all are too big. We think you guys are a monopoly. Y'all gonna have to break this up or separate or whatever. So this does not look good for Facebook. Facebook has the shares have actually fallen pretty sharply, which makes sense. And there's a little bit of contention here, meaning on the political side, you've got some politicians saying there's anti-conservative bias because they feel that their stuff is getting fact-checked too much. You can feel how you want to feel about that, and that their influence is being kind of diluted because Facebook is too liberal or whatever. There's actually some statistical evidence that says it's actually not the case. But that aside, we're looking really at the business aspect. And basically they say, well, because Facebook is so large and you own Instagram and you own WhatsApp, you are killing competition, and new upcoming apps really can't play and survive in this market. You just keep buying up people. Remember Snapchat? And they took that feature and made it into Instagram, and then Snapchat fell off at one point. Right now the stock is doing well, but at one point we're like, look, why be on Snapchat when I got Instagram stories? That's all Snapchat was Instagram stories. Now you got TikTok out there, you got Pinterest out there, and we'll see, what happens with that landscape. But in theory, it is possible, if the lawsuit is successful on the side of the FTC and the states, Facebook could break up. Instagram could be its own company, or it could get bought by someone else. WhatsApp could be its own company, or it can get bought by someone else. The possibilities are there, and will likely hurt the overall revenue and prospects and control of the market that Facebook has. Facebook has killed off a lot of companies. Let's be honest about it, right? And Facebook, for better or worse, kind of dominates the social field. It is not all of the social field, but it has a very, very big chunk of it. So we'll see where it goes. It's one of the biggest lawsuits, at least in recent memory, but also on Facebook's side, or in Facebook's defense, rather, they say that, look, when we submitted to buy Instagram, we had to get your approval, the FTC, and WhatsApp, we had to get your approval. You said yes. You can't say, yes, go buy Instagram, or it's okay to buy Instagram. Yes, it's okay to buy WhatsApp, and then come around and tell us 2, 3, 4 years later, no, that's really bad. You can't do that. And I mean, that kind of makes sense too, right? Like they did have to submit approval, and that's for almost any company. I keep saying AT&T, but T-Mobile and Sprint had to do this exact same process for the government to say, yes, you can merge, yes, you can buy each other or whatever, and now you're this bigger company. They would have the exact same argument. T-Mobile would have the exact same argument if the government came back and said, look, T-Mobile, you're too big. You need to split up and give Sprint back, or, become two separate companies again. I would have that same argument if that were me. It's like, but you told me I could. Why are we here? So that's the issue with Facebook. Keep an eye on it. I will definitely keep an eye on it. Facebook is one of those larger companies, just like, the FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. So if Facebook continues to get battered, a good chunk of the market too will also get hurt buy that. So you want to pay attention to that. If the market is going to go down for the next few weeks, it's really going to be the stimulus, and it could be big tech as well. Because the fear is if you are willing to sue Facebook and make headwinds or whatever it may be, you may also be willing to sue Google because they own a lot of stuff too, right? So if those two go down, and just not meaning you split them up, but even if you got close to it, or maybe you do, then that's really going to weigh on the entire tech sector. Remember, those stocks I just mentioned, Facebook, Amazon, Google, you can throw Netflix in there too if you want. What they do between those 5, maybe 6 stocks, that controls close to 75% of the entire stock market. Just them. So if 2 of them go down, or 2 of them are sued, or there are at least concerns of that with Facebook and Google, then the entire market to a degree can kind of lean in that direction and not look great. So just be aware of that. Pay attention to Facebook, see what's happening, pay attention to the stimulus and see what's happening there. For the IPOs, I think Airbnb comes out tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on that one. Y'all know how I feel about the two, so we'll see. I'll just say that for those. If you have any questions, let me know. Put your questions in the comments, hit the share button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.